Hello everyone. सुनेको छौ? Aman?
हजुर म्याम
Okay, today we discuss second method and fixed point iteration method to find the root of nonlinear equation f of x equals to 0. Let we discuss the second method. The Newton-Raphson method fails if the derivative f dash xi evaluated is 0. What is the formula of Newton-Raphson method? See everyone, xi plus 1 equals to xi minus f of xi over f dash xi. If f dash xi equals to 0, this term undefined. Okay, the method fails. Sometime diverge हुन्छ हाम्रो सधैँ प्रब्लममा सोल्युसन कन्भर्ज हुन्छ भन्ने छैन हामीले डिस्कसन गरेको थियौं म न्यूटन राप्सन मेथडमा ब्याक हुन्छु यो फिगरमा एभ्रीवन सी दिस फिगर x नट प्लस h x1 ओके h हाम्रो नेगेटिभ थियो यदि पोजिटिभ आइदियो भने यो x नट तिम्रो राइट साइडतिर जान्छ डाइभर्जको केस हुन्छ वी कान्ट मुभ टुवर्ड्स जाई ओके अहिले कन्भर्ज टु सम रिलेसन हाम्रो यतिखेर नि डाइभर्ज हुन सक्छ इफ f dash x नट इज अनडिफाइन्ड यो केसमा पनि वी कान्ट फाइन्ड दी रूट्स फ्रम न्यूटन राप्सन मेथड वी फलो दी नेक्स्ट हामी जान्छौँ त्यो नेक्स्ट मेथड भनेको हामीले डिस्कसन गर्दैछौँ द सेकेन्ड मेथड इफ न्यूटन राप्सन मेथड फेल्स we follow the rules of second method. The derivative f dash x 0 भइदियो at a given point. हामीले के गर्छौं at f dash x first derivative at a given point xi हामी approximate गर्छौं is approximated by difference quotient f of xi minus f xi minus 1 over xi minus xi minus 1. If we have 2 point A and B, what is the slope? fb minus fa over b minus a. It gives the average velocity or हामीले पढेको थियौं average rate of change of the function which is equivalent to first derivative limit term छैन limit delta x xi minus 1 tends to 0 or h tends to 0 omit okay we can approximate if we have 2 point A and B fb minus fa over b minus a. It gives the average derivative or average rate of change of the function हामी यो हेर्न सक्छौं we can approximate like this ठीक छ what is f dash x if f dash x fails or Newton-Raphson method fails if the derivative f dash x equals to 0 you know f dash x equals to 0 means Newton-Raphson method fails we can't find roots from Newton-Raphson method. अब हामी के गर्छौं त f dash x लाई approximated गर्छौं by difference quotient or difference formula. तिमीले यसको लास्टमा पढ्छौ finite difference method. हामी finite difference method मा नि यही formula derive गर्छौं. Okay, f dash xi is equivalent to f of xi minus f of xi minus 1 over xi minus xi minus 1. It is nothing. We have 2 point, one xi minus 1, another xi, like A and B. A is strictly less B. The xi र xi minus 1 को relation नि यही नै छ. The replacing, then we replace f dash xi in Newton-Raphson method. Let's say we replace xi, f dash xi. What we have xi minus f of xi over f of xi minus f of xi minus 1 over x minus 1. तिमीले रिप्लेस गर्दा के भेट्छौ सुनेको छौ छ रश्मि
Yes, ma'am.
okay xi minus 1 equals to xi minus f of xi xi minus xi minus 1 over f of xi minus f of xi minus 1. After simplification, easily we can say केही confusion छ भने think गरेर question सोध्न सक्छौ. Just we have Newton-Raphson method. We recall it. Xi plus 1 equals to xi minus f of xi over f dash xi. Okay. This is the Newton-Raphson formula. तिमीले के गर्दियौ? Just you put f dash xi equals to this term in Newton-Raphson formula. After simplification, we get xi plus 1 equals to xi minus 1 f of xi minus xi times f of xi minus 1 over f of xi minus f of xi minus 1. Like this, a times f of c everyone, a times f of b minus b times f of a over fb minus f a. What is a and b? What is new a and b? Later we will discuss. Bisection of false position method ma jasto hundaina. How to choose a and b or 2 point xi and xi minus 1. हामी discussion गर्छौं. This is the formula look like a times fb minus b times fa over fb minus fa. Just so we have only one difference. कसरी choose गर्छौं? How to choose new a and b? हामी त्यो कुरा discussion यहाँ गर्छौं. How can we get xi plus 1? This formula. हामीले यही कुरालाई हेरौं. हामीले कसरी भेट्यौं? This is the formula from the second method to find the roots of our non-linear equation f of x equals to 0. यो स्लाइडमा सबैले हाइलाइट गर्ने केही प्रब्लम छ भने हामी छलफल गर्छौं. ओके, बुकको डिनोटेसन हेरेको है तिमीले fi equals to f of xi को रूपमा बुकले डिनोट गरेको छ. ओके, if we take f of xi equals to fi and f of xi minus 1 equals to fi minus 1, we change our formula 10 into 11. That is xi plus 1 equals to xi minus 1 fi minus xi fi minus 1 over fi minus fi minus 1. Simply तिमी 10 लाई नै लिन पनि सक्छौ. Okay, this method need to two initial guess. We know like a and b, xi and xi minus 1. Okay, age I equals to 0. What we need? xi equals to 0, x0 and no, I equals to 0, x minus 1 and x 1, x0 no. If we start I equals to 1, what we have? Initial guess I equals to 1, x1 and x0. You can start I equals to 0 or 1. If we start I equals to 1, we have a initial guess. xi minus 1 is x0, xi is x1, x0 and x1. If we start I runs from 0, 1, 2, 3 up, I equals to यसमा राख त के भेट्छौ? xi minus 1, 0, x prefix minus 1 र x0 and x minus 1 are two initial guess. If I start from 1, x1 and x0 and x1 are two initial guess. This method needs two initial guesses to start the algorithm, and this method does not need to include the root of the equation by these two initial guess, unlike previously explained bisection and false position method. Timle a र b choose गर्छौ like x0 and x1, but no need to be f of a into f of b strictly less 0. Okay, first timle x0 र x1 लिन्छौ र you find x2. फेरि secondly तिमी के लिन्छौ? x2 र x1 लिन्छौ, x1 र x2. With the help of x1 and x2, you can find x3. x3 अब तिमी x4 मा जाने भयो. To find x4, we take new interval x2 and x3. Latest two updated values लिन्छौ. No need to check fa and fp are opposite sign. हामी discussion हेर्छौं. Figure लाई हेर. The graphical representation of the second method is given below. This is the x0. This is the x1. I runs from 1, 2, 3, 4 up. हुँदा xi minus 1 x naught भयो, xi x1 भयो. अब हामी x2 निकाल्न जाँदैछौँ. रेड साइन. We are going to find x2. x2 भनेको हाम्रो फर्मुला हेरौँ माथिकै. x2 equals to x naught times f of x1. Okay. x naught times f of x1 minus x1 times f of x naught over x1 minus, okay, x naught. But we can find x2. This is the second line. Okay, the concept comes from the second line. अब तिमी x2 को र x1 को हेल्पले x3 निकाल्छौ. जस्ट यस्तै x1 को ordinate जस्तै x2 को नि ordinate खिच, and then you draw the second line. Okay, we repeat our process. जाइसम्म नपुगुन्जेल हाम्रो प्रोसेस रिपिट गर्छौँ. Okay, we find x2 with the help of x0 and x1. We find x3 with the help of x1 and x2. We find x4 with the help of x3 and x2. x4 with the help of x2 and x4. No need to check. F of x0 and f of x1 is strictly less 0. Okay, हामी यसरी नै फर्मुला अपडेट गर्दै जान्छौँ वा इटरेसन प्रोसेस रिपिट गर्छौँ. दिस इज द algorithm for second method. First, we choose two initial case, x0 and x1. Okay, and then we compute f of x0 and f of x1. After that, we compute our approximate solution, x2, with the help of this formula, x0 f of x1 minus x1 f of x naught over f of x1 minus f of x0. Okay, f of x0 minus f of x0. Okay, तिमीसँग कतिवटा सोलुसन भयो? x0, x1 and x2. Is x2 is roots? Just we check the criteria. What is our criteria? We have the absolute difference between two latest. Approximate solution strictly less or equals to epsilon. If x2 minus x1 को absolute difference strictly less or equals to epsilon, okay, x2 is a root. x2 is a roots. Okay, if x2 is not a roots, हामी कहाँ जान्छौँ? We move for second approximate roots, x3. For x3, we choose the interval x1 and x2, and we follow the formula x1 f of x2 minus x2 f of x1 over f of x2 minus f of x1. We repeat our process until the desired accuracy, until we reach the desired accuracy. हामी यही अनुसार प्रोसेस रिपिट गर्दै जान्छौँ र xn minus xn minus 1 को एब्सोल्युट डिफरेन्स इज स्ट्रिक्टली लेस or equals to एप्सिलन नभएसम्म. यहाँसम्म केही क्वेसन छ भने प्लिज एनीबडी यु क्यान आस्क एनी क्वेसन. ठीक छ, हाउ टु चुज initial guess. Initially we have x0 and x1 like a and b. Sometime we have x0 and x1, sometime we have no. How to choose? हाम्रो roots को नजिकको पोइन्टहरु लिन्छौं, but no need to be a their or product of their ordinate strictly less 0. Please question सोधा केही छ भने, होइन भने हामी म भन्छौं. यसको सोलुसन भेट्ने तरिका हम न्यूटन राप्सन मेथडमा जस्तै त्यहाँ हामीले टेन्जेन्ट लाइन लिएको थियो, यहाँ सेकेन्ड लाइन लिन्छौं. सेकेन्ड लाइनको बेसमा कन्भर्जेन्स बिहेभियर or क्राइटेरिया इज लुक लाइक न्यूटन राप्सन मेथड तिमी देख्न सक्छौ. ठीक छ, मेरो कुरा सुनिराछौ? पासाङ, हेलो, anybody केही क्वेशन छ भने सोध.
म्याम त्यो एक्युरेसी चेक गर्न हैन हामीले x2 र x1 माइनस गरे हुन्छ कि पहिलाको जस्तो फंक्सन निकाल्नु पर्दैन
यसमा
हजुर
फंक्सन निकाल्न नि सक्छौ ठीक छ तिमीले सोधेको क्वेशन इफ f of x2 equals to 0 x2 is the roots राइट निकालिरहन्छौ नि हामीलाई चाहिन्छ नि त x3 को लागि पनि के चाहिन्छ x1 f of x2 minus x2 f of x1 over f of x2 minus f of x1 निकाल्छौ हामीले चाहिन्छ स्टप गर्न नि सक्छौ वा भेरी सिम्पली यु क्यान सी तिमीले यो नगरी पनि क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल भयो कुन स्टेपमा भनेर देख्न सक्छौ एक्युरेट टु 4 डेसिमल प्लेसेस भन्यो भने आफ्टर डेसिमल दुईवटा एप्रोक्सिमेट सोलुसनको आफ्टर डेसिमल 4 डिजिट सेम देख्यो भने क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल भयो भन्न सक्छौ न कि तिमीले f of xn इक्वल्स टु 0 छ कि छैन भनेर चेक गरिरहेको पनि हुँदैन हो जसरी हेर्न सक्छौ बट f of x2 निकाल्नु पर्छ हामीले किन x3 को लागि पनि चाहिन्छ f of x2 निकाल्दा f of x2 एक्ज्याक्टली 0 भयो भने यु कन्क्लुड f of x2 इक्वल्स टु 0 राइट प्रोग्रामिङमा हामी यसरी प्रोग्राम डेराइभ गर्न नि सक्छौं एभ्री अल्गोरिदम इज हेल्पफुल फर प्रोग्राम सफ्टवेयरको लागि हामी डिस्कसन गरिरहेको हो यो कुराहरू तिमीले कसरी प्रोग्रामिङ बनाउँछौ इफ यु नो द अल्गोरिदम यु क्यान इजिली डिजाइन द प्रोग्राम कसरी काम गर्छ भन्ने थाहा पायो भने इजिली डिजाइन गर्न सक्छौ ओके ठीक छ नेक्स्ट हाम्रो फिक्स पोइन्ट इटरेसन मेथड छ हामी प्रब्लममा जान्छौं ठीक छ सेकेन्ड मेथड अघि बढौं है second method use second method to estimate the root of the equation x square minus 4x minus 10 equals to 0 we have the initial guess sometime we have initial guess point which is given sometime we have no initial guess point हामीले भनिराछौ initial guess x naught equals to 4 and x1 equals to 2 तिमीले यसलाई x minus 1 र x 0 भनेर राख्न नि सक्छौ फर्मुलामा तिमी I runs from 0, 1 to 3 गर्छौ भने right given that x naught equals to 4 x1 equals to 2 f of x naught कति भेट्छौ f of 4 equals to minus 10 f of x1 equals to f of 2 equals to minus 14 this ठीक छ हामी x2 मा जान्छौ we need to find x2 what is the formula x naught f of x1 minus x1 f of x naught over f of x1 minus f of x naught okay कसरी डेराइभ गर्यौ हामीले अघि छलफल गरिसक्यौ just we approximate f dash xi तिमीले 9 भेट्यौ हामी सेकेन्ड इटरेसन मा जान्छौ second iteration start with x1 equals to 2 x2 equals to 9 or तिमीले x naught equals to 2 र x1 equals to 9 भनेर माथिकै फर्मुला फर न्यू एप्रोक्सिमेसन x3 फेरि यही फर्मुला अप्लाई गर्न नि सक्छौ ठीक छ अलरेडी वी हैव x naught and x1 तिमीले x2 निकाल्यौ फर x3 we need x1 and x2 x1 we have x1 2 x2 9 computed x3 equals to x1 f of x2 minus x2 f of x1 over f of x2 minus f of x1 as we suppose x1 is a x2 is b what we have a times fp minus b times fa over fp minus fa कसरी सम्झन सक्छौ याद गर x3 equals to after simplification we get 4 the third iterative start with for x4 we need x2 and x3 x2 भनेको तिमीले के पायो x2 9 x3 our latest and second latest computed approximate roots x3 equals to 4 and x2 equals to 9 x4 as we suppose x2 equals to a x3 equals to b we have here the a times fp minus b times fa over fp minus fa like this a x2 f of x3 minus b भनेको x3 f of a means x2 over f of x3 minus f of x2 after simplification we get 5.111 triple fourth one fourth iteration start with x5 को लागि we need latest two updated approximate roots. x5 को लागि we have x3 and x4. x3 4, x4 5.1. तिमी फर्मुला फेरि डिफाइन गर्न सक्छौ वा डाइरेक्ट गर्न सक्छौ. x5 x3 f of x4 minus x4 f of x3 over f of x4 minus f of x3. We have 5.9563. हामी के गर्छौं? The value can be further redefined by continuing this process. तिमीले अघि बढ्न सक्छौ. The plot of the function is, मैले यही स्टप गरे, is shown below. तिमीले रिजल्ट कति हुन्छ हामी हेर्छौं फिगरबाट. हाम्रो रूट लाइज बिट्विन कतिमा दिया छ. ठीक छ, यो हो हाम्रो रूट. माथि रूट लाइज बिट्विन कतिमा राखेको छ हेर त. 4 and 2, 2 and 4. This is not root light between. These are the initial guess, right? Remember everyone, these 2 and 4 are the initial guess. These two are initial guess. We suppose x0 and x1, 2 and 4. This is our solution. तिमी यसको नजिक पुग्नु पर्यो. 5 point something आउँछ. 5 point अब के इटरेसनमा तिमी सोलुसनमा पुग्न सक्छौ. यो पनि तिमीले प्र्याक्टिस गर्नु पर्यो. र नेक्स्ट क्वेशनमा हामी जान्छौं. यो अहिले सल्भ गर्ने. Find the root of the equation. We have the equation x cube minus twice x minus 5 equals to 0 by using second method, taking initial guesses. x0 equals to 2 and x1 equals to 3. तिम्रो टास्क भयो. We have also next, these two are done workout from textbook. तिमीले टेक्स्ट बुकमा नै आन्सर ट्याली गर्न सक्छौ. Use the second method, find a root of the equation f of x equals to this, where root lies between 0 and 1. Second method बाट सल्भ गर्न सक्छौ. f हामीले f of 0 र f of 1 strictly less 0 हुनु पर्दैन भनेको छौ. How to choose a new interval for new approximate roots, त्यो तिमीलाई थाहा भइसक्यो. Everyone solve this. म माथिको रुल्स पनि राख्छु यदि तिमीलाई अप्ठ्यारो छ भने. Okay, you know new a and b, a time fb minus b times fa over fb minus fa every time. यसरी सल्भ गर्न सक्छौ. ओके, तिमी 40 भयो. 55 सम्म प्र्याक्टिस गर. एउटा प्रब्लम at least one. ठिक छ, 15 मिनेट सल्भ गर्ने. केही क्वेशन छ भने सोध्न सक्छौ. ठिक छ. Find the root of this equation. Everyone solve this by using second method, taking x0 equals to 2 and x1 equals to 3.
एक्चुअली फर्मुला माथि लगिदिनु न.
हुन्छ. क्वेशन टिप सबैले, त्यसपछि म यसमा जान्छु. Okay, fixed point iteration method. This is also called iteration method, iterative method. Just simply तिमीले प्र्याक्टिस गर्न छोड ल. What we want to show here, हामी फेरि हेर्छौं. Here we also want to solve or want to find the root of nonlinear equation f of x equals to 0. Okay, what is the rules or algorithm behind? हामी यही कुरा छलफल गर्छौं. We have the nonlinear equation f of x equals to 0. Everyone listen. We have nonlinear equation f of x equals to 0. we rewrite this equation x equals to phi x. But how to define this phi x? We have some certain criteria. We can't easily randomly define garna saktainau. We have to follow these some rules. Okay, we have the function f of x equals to 0. Later we will discuss how to define x equals to phi x. Everyone see, in this method we have f of x equals to 0, nonlinear equation. We are going to find its roots from fixed point iteration method or simply iteration method. We call it as iteration method also. We redefine our function f of x equals to 0 into x equals to phi x, right? Later we'll discuss how to define x equals to phi x. Okay, f of x equals to 0, rewrite or manipulate this f of x equals to 0 equation with x equals to phi x, where f dash x, derivative of absolute derivative of this function f of x strictly less 1. Okay, absolute of this derivative is strictly less 1. Ungiven interval हामी त्यो पछि हेर्छौं. Equation, sorry, मैले 12 र 13 भयो, मैले 8 and 9 लेखेछु. Equation 12 and 13 are equivalent. ठीक छ, यो पहिला सेकेन्ड मेथड पछि थियो, फिक्स पोइन्ट अगाडि थियो. हाम्रो ल्याटेक्स सफ्टवेयरले उसले आफै रिराइट गर्छ, त्यसैले यो चेन्ज भयो. मैले अघि पढाउनु अगाडि मात्र चेन्ज गरेको थिएँ. एनीवे पछि म यसलाई चेन्ज गर्छु. Equation 8 and 9 are equivalent, and therefore root of equation 8 is also a root of equation 9. Here we see equation 12 and 3 are same or equivalent. Okay, the root of equation 12 is also the root of equation number 13. Root of, if we suppose root of equation number 12 is r equals to phi of r, तिमीले यो कुरा देख्न सक्छौ. Geometrically the root of equation 12 is the point where the curve y equals to x and y equals to phi x intersect. This point of intersection is known as fixed point of the function phi x. Figure बाट हामी discussion गर्छौं. We have a function f of x equals to 0. We rewrite this function as x equals to phi x. Okay, these two equations are equivalent. So the root of equation 12 is also the root of equation number 13. What is the root of equation number 13 or equation number 12? What is the root of f of x equals to 0? Okay, its root भनेको the point of intersection between the line y equals to x and y equals to phi x, curve y equals to phi x. The intersecting point between y equals to x and y equals to phi x is also called fixed point of the curve, fixed point of the function y equals to phi x. I'm here, so everyone see, we already we have f of x equals to 0 function. We redefine our function as x equals to phi x. How to define? I'm पछि हेर्छौं. Here I write y equals to phi x. See the curve x phi x curve. See the line y equals to x. See the point of intersection between y equals to x line and phi x curve. The point of intersection between them, we called it as xi. Xi is the root of function f of x equals to 0. This is also the root of phi x function. Phi x is the redefined function. How to redefine the function? See everyone, we have f of x equals to 0. We redefine the fixed point equation. We called it as fixed point equation also. X equals to phi x. How to define? Derivative of phi x strictly less 1 for all x belongs to given interval. Choose an initial guess x naught that belongs to I, means given interval. If we have no interval, we choose initial guess. Initial guess मा तिम्रो यो derivative strictly less 1 हुनुपर्छ for the solution. Greater 1 भयो भने तिमी diverge भेट्छौ, case of divergence. solution does not exist. Slope should strictly less 1. Initial guess point ma slope strictly less 1. If greater than 1, diverge case huncha, roots does not exist. After that हामी के गर्छौं? We compute xi plus 1 with the formula f of xi. Initially we have x naught. We define x1, we compute x1 with the help of phi of x naught. After that you have x1, new approximate roots. If we suppose, if we put I equals to 1, x2, new approximate roots, phi of x1. x2 equals to phi of x1. Similarly, x3 equals to phi of x2. We define like this. Initially, we have function f of x, equation f of x equals to 0. We redefine this function as x equals to phi x. These two equations are equivalent. So the root of equation 12 is also root of equation number 13. What is the root of equation number 2? The root of equation number 2 is the intersecting point between phi x and y equals to x line. The intersecting point, also called fixed point of the function phi x. The function phi x is called fixed point equation or fixed point. Fixed point equation or fixed point function. If we write phi x only, we call it as function. If we write x equals to phi x, which is known as the fixed point equation. Okay, तिमीले यहाँसम्म बुझ्यौ fixed point method or iteration method. Initially we have nonlinear equation. We redefine this as x equals to phi x. F of x equals to 0 and x equals to phi x are equivalent. Okay, both have same roots. What is the root of phi x? The root of phi x is the intersecting point between phi x, chord phi x and line y equals to x. The phi x is also called fixed point equation. Let's say x naught be an initial guess to a root. Then the next approximation is given by x1. How to compute x1? x1 equals to phi of x naught. Further, we approximate. फेरि तिमी क्वेशन रेज गर्न सक्छौ. Is x1 is a root? If f of x1 equals to 0, this is a roots. Okay, x2, f of phi of x1. हामी यही वेबाट the iteration process can be expressed in general formula xi plus 1 equals to phi of xi, where I runs from 0, 1 to 3 up. If we suppose the initial guess x naught, I should run from 0, 1 to 3 up. This is called the fixed point iteration formula. The iteration process would be terminate when the magnitude of the difference between two successive approximation is under tolerance level. हामीले पहिल्यैदेखि भनेका छौं, we do the iteration until we stop the criteria. What is our criteria? You know very well. The last and second last successive approximate difference, absolute difference is strictly less or equals to our pre-specified error. The pre-specified error is also called tolerance. We define by epsilon that equals to 1 by 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. हामीले धेरै चोटी भनिसक्यौ. अब हामी जान्छौं how to define x equals to phi x. You know f of x equals to 0 manipulate by x equals to phi x, where phi dash x is strictly less 1. त्यो भएन भने हाम्रो problem diverge हुन्छ. Roots does not exist. Okay, हामी हेर्छौं if we have x square plus x minus 2 equals to 0, how to define f of, here we have f of x equals to 0 means x square plus x minus 2 equals to 0. रश्मि सुनेको छौ? छ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, हाम्रो इक्वेसन चेन्ज भइराछ 8 9 भनेर यसमा पछि करेक्ट गरौँला है. सबैले हाइलाइट गर. If we have f of x equals to 0 means x square plus x minus 2 equals to 0. How to rewrite? हेर के गर्यो हामीले x equals to 2 minus x square or adding x on both sides. What are the rules हामी हेर्छौं? See here, x equals to 2 minus x square, or you can write x equals to x square plus 2x minus 2. Here phi x is 2 minus x square, or phi x equals to x square plus 2x minus 2. But you have to see the criteria. Criteria must exist. We have given in interval. Interval दिएको हुन्छ, within interval मा त्यो criteria fulfill हुनु पर्यो. If we have no interval, you have to choose initial guess, or initial guess are given. त्यतिखेर हामी इनिशियल गेसमा यो पोइन्ट यो डेरिभेटिभ phi dash x को एब्सोल्युट स्ट्रिक्टली लेस 1 हुनै पर्छ for the convergence of our solution. Adding of x is both sides is normally done in the situation where the original equation is not embeddable to algebraic manipulation. For example, the equation tan x equals to 0. Can you write x equals to some? We can't. Would be put into the form of equation 9 again discussion gareko 12 and 13, adding x on both sides. If we have tan x equals to 0, how to define x equals to phi x? We add x on both sides, x equals to x plus tan x. Or तिमी algebraic manipulation बाट पनि गर्न सक्छौ. Here we have x equals to 2 minus x square. Okay, अघिकै फिगर हो. Initially we have x naught. With the help of x naught you can find x1. With the help of x1 you can find x2. Similarly we move for xi. Okay. Problem हामी यहाँबाट हेर्छौं. Find the root of the equation. Fixed point iteration method को. ठीक छ. Example number 15 हेर. Find the root of the equation x cube equals to 1 minus x square on the interval 0, 1 with the accuracy of 10 to the power minus 5. कहिलेकाहीँ यसरी पनि दिन सक्छ. दिएन भने हामीले गरिराछौं 1/2 into 10 to the power minus 4. Sorry, 4 दिएको छ हामीलाई. 10 to the power minus 4, 10 to the power minus 3. तिमी यसरी नि accuracy level वा tolerance हेर्न सक्छौ. हामी अघि बढौं. We have x cube equals to 1 minus x square. This is f of x. See, f of x equals to s cube minus 1 plus x square equals to 0. Equation is this. How to redefine as x equals to phi x. तिमीले many way बाट define गर्न सक्छौ. x equals to cube root of 1 minus x square गर्न सक्यौ. अर्को भनेको x equals to square root of तिमी के गर्न सक्छौ 1 minus x cube गर्न पनि सक्छौ. तर तिम्रो क्राइटेरिया within 0 to 1 मा x equals to phi x तिमीले डिफाइन गरेको phi x चाहिँ strictly less 1 हुनु पर्छ for the convergence, for the existence of the roots.